I preach the same thing in the class that I preach to, new cooks that ask me questions. We wrap on color, we pull on feel, and temperature doesn't matter.
Welcome to the Pitmasters Podcast. I'm Rusty Monson.
I'm Anthony Lujan.
And today on the podcast, we're talking to Travis Duffy of Last Call Heroes Barbecue Team. We're going to talk to him about the Royal and all sorts of fun stuff that he's got going on and doing. So let's go.
Yo, what's up, Rusty?
What's up, dude? So that chili competition we're talking about.
Yes.
So you went, I didn't.
Yes.
And how'd you do?
I took second place.
Dude, nice.
So it was kind of like the Crooked Pigs and Salt City Barbecue scenario. I'm like, man, this is the best chili ever. And the lady next to me is like, here, you want to try my chili? Sure. I put it in my mouth and I was like,
oh no.
Yeah, I just took second place. It was almost like immediately, like I thought I had it in the bag. Nope. Lost to a white chili, actually.
That's Chad Bonella's wife.
Yeah.
Utes. They had the Utes thing, right?
Yeah. It was awesome, dude. It was fun. There's 12 teams, 16 entries. A lot of different entries. There was definitely like a mix of different kinds of meats and styles, and it was really awesome. It was a cool experience. Little cold, but
well, it was snowing up there, so It looked like it was hella cold. I wussed out last minute.
Yeah, you did.
No, to be honest though, I did a practice and it was really good, and I ran out of a really important ingredient, and I have to get it online. So
yeah,
I was like, you know what, screw it. We had practice anyway that day, and we cooked up some ribs. So
yeah, I seen somebody. Your rib guy wasn't doing ribs. Your brisket guy was doing ribs.
We were doing ribs.
Yeah,
we're a team. We work together.
I guess I fly solo most of the time. Well,
you do.
I have my cousin. He's there, but most of the time it's my call, and I'm just mess up half the time anyways.
Well, we had our recipes that we were doing this season, and then we decided I took that class and we tried to use those, and we tried to use a mixture of stuff, and we just kind of did a whole bunch and voted on our favorite. And It's kind of what we're going to do until December. December 27th is our first comp. So
yeah,
we're just going to try and lock it until then. I'm going to be cooking twice a week, and we're going to kill it.
Yeah, I'm bringing on a new team member this year, so we got to do a practice cook or two to kind of mesh it and see how's it going.
Yeah, but you got pretty good cooks on there.
Yeah. So last episode we talked to Crooked Pigs, and I said I had a secret, right?
Yeah.
Well, now it's time to let the secret out of the bag.
What?
So Traeger, any smoker that has a D2 setting on it is now they're offering a pellet sensor. So less time to go outside. You just pull up your phone. You're like, oh, I have 50% pellets. My brisket's still at 125. I have friends coming over. I can move it up on my phone. You don't even have to go outside anymore, dude. So like, when you're watching the Saints game and you're like, oh, I have a 30-second window timeout. I got to go run outside check. You just pull up your phone now, dude.
Depends on what's happening in the Saints game. I'll just let it go. It's going to burn.
No, but the pellet sensor, dude, is amazing. You can use it anywhere. I check on my grill from work. I'll put a brisket on before I leave to work, come and just check and be like, oh, I'm running low on pellets. Tell the boy to run out there and throw some more in.
That's the one thing I worry about is when you're putting some in the pellet grill and you run off, is that, do I have enough pellets to sustain me?
Exactly.
I've run out several times.
And there's notifications. Like if you're like, oh, I'm going to put it on, I'm going to go to bed. Oh, an alarm will go off if you're running low.
That's sick.
So you can power through the night and sleep and not have to worry about it.
That's actually a cool idea.
Yeah.
So good job, Traeger.
Yep.
So
alrighty, well, we have somebody on the line, dude.
Sure do. We have Travis Duffy. So we're just gonna go ahead and bring him in, and just introduce him and get going on that interview with him. And here we go. Hey, Travis, how you doing, man?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing awesome. We appreciate you coming by. I met you up in Montana, and we did a comp there, and we roll up to this competition. And I look, oh my gosh, that's the dude who RGC'd the freaking Royal. And that's Cue Me All Night Long. And that's Grill Billy or whoever. I can't remember his name. What's his name now? I can't remember. I was freaking out, man. Like, it was the most intimidating competition we did all season because there was so much firepower up there. I actually didn't do a lot of talking because we were next to Honeyman, and I know Mike, we were good. But so I finally was able to meet you at the end and asked you to be on the podcast. So welcome, man.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to come on the show. kind of find it funny. You shouldn't have been intimidated. You kind of whipped all of our butts there. So,
well, you actually technically whooped mine. You had a bad rib day. If you wouldn't have had a bad rib day, you would have taken it. I remember very clearly too. We went up there and you got first place chicken call. And that second I turned to Jared and I'm like, it's over, man. He's got it. You know, his RGC of the Royal wasn't enough. He's come to take our souls.
Yeah, for some reason they didn't care for our ribs that day. Funny thing is, we probably thought it was probably one of the better rib cooks we had all season, but that's just how it goes some days. I know the table that those ribs landed on, if there was a table of death at that contest, it was it, but there was only 4 tables, so we all had to land on it. We just didn't survive that table as well as others did, and that's how it went down.
Yeah, that was a fun comp. It was raining, you know, it was all sorts of fun stuff. Well, anyway, let's talk a little bit about you. Where did you get started in barbecue? Where's the moment you decided, you know what, I'm a barbecue man? Sure.
We got into it. We're probably similar to a lot of cooks that got into it. We enjoyed cooking barbecue in our backyard, particularly ribs. We always, for our get-togethers with me and my buddies and everything, whether it be the 4th of July or whatever it would be, we got sick and tired of the average burgers and brats and stuff like that, so we decided to start cooking barbecue and cooking ribs, and we thought we had pretty good ribs. In 2012, here in Pierre, where we live, in the fall, there was a little backyard rib cook-off that a local charitable organization was putting on, and we figured, well, let's go see if we can maybe see if our ribs are any good compared to the other guys in this thing. And so back in those days, we were cooking on Weber kettles, and a couple of my buddies had Traegers, and so we threw a couple borrowed Traegers into a borrowed enclosed trailer with a bunch of other borrowed equipment, from tables to anything else we needed, and went to this little rib cook-off, pulled in. The rest of everybody else there probably looked at us like we didn't know what we were doing, probably laughed at us, but we showed up there and cooked the ribs, and it was kind of a people's choice / blind judge, where we fed the public, but also turned in the ribs to not certified judges, obviously being backyard contest, but turned it into judges. And when it was all said and done, we ended up winning that little rib cook-off, and like everybody else, then that happens too, you're hooked. And in 2013, we started looking around for little backyard cook-offs like that. We found a few, did all right. We won a couple of them, but we wanted to do more than we had for opportunities out there in the backyard stuff. And basically had to decide that if we were going to do more, we were going to have to jump head first into KCBS. So 2014, we started the year out in Huron, South Dakota at South Dakota Barbecue Championships. First contest, we did some practicing prior to, off of just kind of what we read online between the Barbecue Brethren and a few Google searches to see kind of what a person needed to do. We thought we had good ribs from cooking the backyard contest, but when it comes to the other 3 categories, as far as what judges in KCBS wanted, we didn't really have a real good idea. You know, from watching barbecue pit masters and here and there, that you need to have money muscle in your pork box. They like that, and chicken thighs and brisket. We didn't know much, but tried to do the best we could to get some brisket that they'd like, and went to our first contest and ended up getting 3 calls and 6th overall. And the call we didn't get was brisket, and we sucked in brisket for quite a while, but and it started out pretty good. The first year we competed, we did 5 contests, I believe, and 4 of them were top 10 overalls. So we were pretty fortunate to start off as well as we did, and it just kind of built from there.
That's freaking awesome. It just shows you that you don't need all the fancy equipment to go into barbecue contests. If you have a grill and 10x10 or in a table, you're in. It doesn't matter. You don't need $100,000 rig. You can go in there on borrowed gear.
Yeah. Well, our first year cooking in KCBS, I owned 1 pellet cooker myself and borrowed a couple other ones, and that's how we rolled the first year. And then after that year, I bought some more of my own equipment. But it was easy ups and a smaller enclosed trailer that we threw all of our equipment in. And even though we had an enclosed trailer, we were still setting easy ups up and things of that nature. So it wasn't a real elaborate setup. And we cooked that way for quite a few years. Actually, 2018 was the first year that I cooked off the trailer I have now. We cooked out of an enclosed trailer with easy ups and unloaded and loaded equipment every contest.
That kind of is what we're doing now. So we're trying to get out of that too. I'm over the easy up, especially after Montana was raining. I'm like, it'd be so nice. We were the only ones in an easy up at that comp. Everyone else had these fancy trailers, and it was like, oh, I need to get one. So how did that come about? I mean, it's obvious going back through your info from 2014 till now, there was a significant jump in your scoring, in your consistency. How does that happen? Like what did you do to improve? It seems like almost every single year.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just consistency and continuing to work and get things better. If I would have done it over again, I probably would have taken a class faster. We did not take a class until it'd be the winter of 2016. We took Tim and Brad's class. So 2014, 2015 were all with no class at all. And then decided it was time to take a class and see what we could do, what we could learn from guys much better than us, on how to improve our entries and see if we couldn't, not that we were doing bad, but we were, just hanging out in the top 10, a lot of 6 through 10s and popping top 5s every once in a while. I think I might've won. I don't know if I won my first reserve. No, I think the best I ever done was 3rd overall before I took that class. But we were, when you sit there in your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th in there, I mean, those are good days and you can't complain about it, but you sit there and you start thinking, well, what am I missing? What am I getting beat with, And so we went and took a class and I think that definitely helped a little bit. Definitely helped in brisket. Prior to taking that first class, we were out to lunch on brisket. If we ever got brisket calls that were, basically we turned in 4 categories and just hoped that we could get something out of brisket. And it wasn't that we were cooking bad brisket. It was just, we weren't doing what the judges wanted. It wasn't that it was tough or not tender. It's just, we didn't have the whole package. We were not there on flavors. We weren't doing what we needed to do to really make it score. And classes definitely helped that out a lot. Get us in the right direction there.
Nice. So I was listening to another podcast today, and I really like how you said with your brisket is you weren't just slicing a brisket and laying it in the box. You are actually finding the individual pieces of that brisket and then putting those 6 pieces in your box. You're not just laying 12 in there just to do 12. You're actually hand picking the 6 pieces that are going into that box.
Yeah, absolutely. I have them down when I slice my brisket. And I lay them all out on my cutting board, and I just start feeling them. And I'm also looking like, I trim mine to box size, before cooking it. And, even though I got my brisket slicer as sharp as I could possibly get it, you might have a piece every once in a while that the chips on the edge or whatever. And if that happens, I'll disqualify them. But as I'm picking them slices up and setting them on my cutting board and everything, I can feel what I'm looking for, and I hate to say doing the droop test because the droop test doesn't tell anything. I've had them stiff as a board and score, because the mouth feel is what matters in the pull test. But, you can feel what's good, what's not. And, I'll just start eliminating it. If I got 10, 12 slices out there, I'm going to start, okay, this one here. And you can tell when you cut through your brisket, you're going to have on the ends where it might be a little bit over it. You get into the sweet spot, and then you kind of come out of it. And you start looking at those slices in your sweet spot and, just start eliminating it. Maybe you got 8 or 9 of them in that sweet spot that are good. Then you start looking, well, I don't like this piece as much as this one, or, this one here, maybe this one has that spider web fat that it can kind of show up in some of them slices of Wagyu brisket every once in a while. You start looking, which ones look the best, which ones feel the best. And I'll just pick the 6 that I feel are the best. And it just, you don't get points for having more than 6 in the box. There's probably some table captains and some volunteers that don't like me saying that because I'm the grazing table. I'm not contributing much to, but in order to win the contest, not beat people. If you're a volunteer and are upset that I do this, come over to my trailer after judging's done. I'll give you all kinds of leftover barbecue because I don't want to take it home. I'm tired of eating it myself.
I like that.
That's awesome.
Because I was, like I said on a previous podcast, I believe I was that guy once, and I'm like, I just want to eat a chicken. So that would be nice to know. Like, go over and eat some because I didn't eat. So, right. But you're right though. I'm kind of that way too. You know, just put in what you need, and you don't need to mess with it.
Are you burn ins, burn out type of guy?
I never ever turn in burn ends. I just have never been happy with my burn ends. It's a work in progress. Being most of the time in a contest, I'm cooking a point. I'm trying to get it the way I want it. The other thing, it seems like, I don't fault the judges for this, but it seems like every judge has a different opinion of what a good burn end is. Some don't want any fat. Some want some. You know, it's especially some of these Wagyu briskets, the points are so full of marbling. You know, the downside of getting a good marbled flat is a point that's probably going to be excessively fatty, and to get that rendered down, but not get the meat, what I call a mealy texture. It's a fine line, and I'm not there. There's a lot of good burn-in cooks out there. I'm not one of them right now. So I focus on slices, and that's what I put in the box. And maybe someday we'll turn in burn ends, but we're not doing it right now.
Nice. You just blew Rusty's mind because he plays with that back and forth, in or out, in or out, or in.
Oh, I'm out.
See, there you go.
The last two comps, I was done, and I told him, I said, we're never doing it again. I don't care. Unless I don't care. If we put them in our mouth and they're the best we've ever had, I don't care.
They're out.
They're out. We're actually this year we're not even going to bring them. So we're just going to keep them in and make burgers, you know, whatever. Yeah. So we're not even bringing them. I have a question though. So you took Brad and Tim's class. And that was 2 years ago. How do you still use stuff like that? How does that evolve? Do you like say, oh, you know what? I've just learned this way. I'm going to try and do this the whole time. I'm having success with it. Or have you changed much doing that?
Yeah. So I've been fortunate enough that I've been able to take a class. I take a class every winter, and to blow your mind here again, I'm going to take Tim and Brad's class again this winter. Even though I've already taken it.
I was thinking about December, right? The end of this month or December, right?
January is the one I'm going to take. And the reason I am this, I took their class back in 2016, and I learned a lot of things. I learned a lot from a lot of the classes I've taken, but it's been a few years, and them guys, I mean, look at their track record. Brad, Team of the Year last year, reserve of the Royal Invitational. Tim just reserved the Jack. Them guys are always there. And I'm sure they've made changes and done things over since I've taken it. And I want to go there and just see what I can pick up that I don't know, that things I can do to make my program better. Find out if there's any of this fancy new Blues Hog Raspberry Chipotle in the program there. It just come out today. That'll be kind of cool.
I just seen that today.
Those guys got a new brisket and pork injection out, and it'd be interesting to see what we see in the class and a few things. And so I could have taken a lot of classes, but I chose that one. It just felt like it was worth going back and doing again. But back to the question, taking a class every off season, and I can say that I have things into my program that I have learned from every single one of those classes, including Tim and Brad's class back in 2016. My pork injection has a lot of, it's not identical to what they were running there, but a lot of things. And when I go to a class, I don't come home and change my whole program. I come to the class, and the first thing, I come in with an open mind. You never want to ever shut anything out or say, well, I do it this way and it's better or whatever. You shut out everything you do. You watch everything as close as you can, take notes of it. Anything if you're at a class and they do something and the light bulb comes on, make sure you write that down and underline it, make it bold, whatever you got to do. Because those are the things that the light bulb comes on. Those are the little things you're looking for in the class. And every one of them, I've picked things out and put an asterisk by in the notes going, well, I can take that and probably put into what I'm doing now and maybe make it a little bit better, Maybe it's not a product, but a certain thing they did at a certain step. And another thing that I've learned from the class that I think I observe other people in classes doing is they're so focused on writing notes all the time, which is great, but some people overdo notes where you got a guy in front of you, or Tim and Brad or whoever's class you're taking, you got a cook in front of you who's showing everything. And if your face is buried in a notebook, you're probably going to miss something they're doing. And I took Travis Clark's class last year, and there was a part of the class where Travis was doing something. I forget exactly what it was, but I look around and he must have just given either an injection or a sauce or a rub recipe or something that people were writing down. And I watched him do something, and they're like, shit, what he just did, that's genius, you know? And half the class missed it. And so there's a happy medium between writing every single thing down and making sure you're not missing things because your face is buried in a notebook.
Yeah, there's an app called Otter my wife turned me on to this last class. You can put your phone down and you record it, but it writes down for you. So it's like talk to text.
Sure.
So I was able to have that going and then take notes when I needed. And so I have, and it's like 40 dang pages, but I have it all, everything they said written down. And then I wrote down stuff that, I thought was important. So Otter, if you guys are out there, that's an app. It's really cool. If you work in business and you have meetings, it's a cool app. So check that one out.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Now I got to download this.
Yeah. I took Brad and Tim's class as well. And that's what we've used up until now. And like I said, I haven't found anything better. We're still probably going to use most of it, but I was thinking about taking it again too, just cause I think they do change. The one you took is the one that different from mine. I know, because I talked to someone who took probably the one you did. And so you never know, and what they're doing, and they're consistent, and they're not consistent in the recipes because they change it a little bit. But I get that way. They release that raspberry chipotle, and he's like 180 in chicken. I'm like, okay, I got to take his class, find out what he's using and how he's doing it, So I'm dropping $600 and flying out to Kansas City to find out what he's putting chipotle raspberry on.
The top cooks in the country are no different than any of us. They're making slight tweaks and changes over the year. I think Tim and Brad probably are two cooks that maybe, I think they switch it up. I think they switch things up a lot of times, maybe just either bored of it or just see if something else will hit, and, I think they're probably pretty creative on some things, and I think that's good. And then there's cooks that don't change as much, but I like, a lot of what I've seen from the class I've taken from them, and kind of talking and hearing them, talk on podcasts and social media posts and things. They're definitely a different style of cook than a lot of people, and I think that's good. I think you need to see different styles and different ways people do things, and see if it works for you. And it might not, but at least you saw it, and if you see something that they're doing and it might work for you and it hits for you, I mean, it could mean big things. It could put you 56 in the country in brisket, like I am right now, only doing 12 or 13 contests. There were a couple of changes we made in brisket in the offseason. Take Travis Clark's class, so were huge, and they weren't major changes, just little ones.
I want to take Travis Clark's class so bad. Yeah. I asked him, I'm like, so with the restaurant, you still doing it? He's like, heck yeah, man, I have a room for that now. I'm like, hell yeah. So
yeah, I think when he gets rolling and gets his restaurant getting that open is his number one priority right now, the way it sounds, and rightfully so. And I think when he gets a little bit more, I bet you'll see some classes a little bit coming up from him anyway.
So you do backyard classes, and you're from South Dakota, right?
Yeah, we live in Pierce, South Dakota, and I do backyard style classes. I got one of my sponsors, Barbecue Heaven at Fireplace Professionals in Sioux Falls. I've known those guys for a few years, and in the last winter they approached me about doing some backyard style classes. We started doing that this last spring, and they've been going really well. We have 25 to 30 students a class, and people get a lot out of it. And I'll say it's a backyard class, but it's not a competition barbecue class or anything like that. But we do incorporate it's an incorporation of what we've learned from cooking over the years, both in competition barbecues, some of the catering we've done in the past, and a little bit of everything. And so when I I can't say that there's none of our competition stuff in the class, but it's not 100% to that, because on the other aspect of that is that these are backyard cooks. They're looking for ways to cook good stuff in their backyard to have a party and please their guests with a great brisket or ribs or chicken or whatever they want to cook. And I don't want to make it too elaborate or too complicated either. I think some of the stuff that we do, competition cooking, is over the top on a lot of things. And, so we teach it at a more basic level or not as complex. When we cook ribs, are we wrapping? Absolutely. Are we wrapping with 30 ingredients? No.
You're like, all right, everyone, I know you're doing backyard, but what we're going to do here is we're going to make you spend $400 on rubs, $200 on spice, and then it's going to take you 4 days to cook it. So get rid of it.
So we simplify everything and make it so it doesn't intimidate people. Because I want people to know that it's easy to cook good barbecue in your backyard. We focus on the process. I preach the same thing in the class that I preach to, new cooks that ask me questions. We wrap on color, we pull on feel, and temperature doesn't matter.
Nice. That's the basic right there.
Yeah.
Of everything.
So I want to switch gears a little bit here. I've never been to the American Royal. Rusty's never been to the American Royal. Can you talk us through Can you talk us through the process of going to the American Royal, the whole experience? Kind of, I know it's a lot. It's a long weekend, but just kind of hit some keynotes. Yeah,
absolutely. So first I got to tell you guys got to get to the Royal. you got it. Even if when I told myself for multiple years that I wouldn't go to the American Royal until I won a contest and got an invite so I could cook the Invitational and the Open. And that took until 2018 to accomplish that. We went there in 2018. We took both contests. I think we were like 43rd overall in the Invitational with we had a port call. And then in the Open, we had no calls and we're finished 11th overall. And that was year number one. That was pretty cool to get 11th overall in the Open. Fast forward, end of June this year, we didn't win the GC to get into the Invitational this year. And our last contest was in Montana, and we ended up 4th overall, and we were just a little bit out of it. And I was disappointed because that was my last opportunity to get in, and it wasn't but 20 minutes after that and a couple bush lights that I decided we were going to go cook the Open anyway. And going forward, I will go cook the Open any year going forward. I'll beg, borrow, and steal to get there, even if I'm not in the Invitational. And I think last year was a testament to that. We weren't in the Invitational this year, and we reserved the Open. It's anybody's day, any time, So I highly encourage you to go, even if you don't qualify for the Invitational. But American Royal is awesome. It's as you probably heard many people say, it's barbecue's biggest family reunion. You see people that you might only see that one time a year, or maybe you only see them a couple times a year when you go to a certain region and cook. And it's pretty awesome. We pull in on Thursday night, usually, or Thursday about 5, 6 o'clock. We'll leave home. It takes us 8 hours to get to Kansas City, where we're from. We're probably fortunate we can do it in an 8-hour drive compared to some people. We get there on Thursday night, and Thursday night is kind of the night for the cooks. The public doesn't come till Friday. That's when the big parties are. But on the Thursday, you'll have, your Snakeover Farms has Anella and them guys put on a hot dog social, and there's kind of some of the team parties are going on. Smithfield had one going on, and I'm sure Prairie Fresh did. And there's all these, little parties. I think Shake and Bake, I think he has a big party over at his trailer. Does a little DJ and things of that nature that night. It's kind of the night that the cook teams are kind of unwind, loosen up a little bit, probably drink more than we should, and then comes Friday, even though it's the big party night for the public. Most of the teams are taking it serious by later on, mid evening or whatever, 10 o'clock or whatever, people start getting serious about the next day and the cooks. So Thursday is kind of the night where everybody can let loose. It's pretty fun. And, but it's, a good 3-4 day party with all your buddies that cook barbecue all over the country.
Is it pretty expensive when you're not cooking the invitational and that kind of stuff? I hear one of the biggest problems is that it's kind of up there and most people can't afford it. Is that true? Is it kind of a hefty price tag?
Yeah, it's spendy. So the difference between basically the invitational is free. So the only thing it costs you to cook the invitational is your meat and any additional rubs, sauces, injection, anything it takes you to cook a second contest is there. No matter if you're just cooking the open or the invitational, your site cost is the same, because even when you're invited, you're paying for the open. You're required to cook the open no matter what. Our spot, by the time we pay for our spot, we get the porta potty that everybody says you should have, and you should. And all the little extra stuff. Maybe I'll prepay for a few bags of ice and things of that nature, so I don't have to mess with that there. They give you an 800 number to call if you need anything. So if you need ice, you just dial this 800 number and say, hey, I need ice. And in 10, 15 minutes, there's a golf cart that shows up with bags of ice that you've already paid for, So it's about $800-900, I think, is the check I write, or whatever you want to call it, when we sign up. And so, yeah, it's expensive. And then, of course, you got travel expenses, and we don't have living quarters in our trailer. So we sleep in a hotel 2 miles from the track. Add another $450 to the weekend just in that. Someday we'll have a bigger trailer, but for now, that's what we do. But yeah, it's expensive. Thank God for sponsors.
Right. I know some people are like, oh yeah, we go. That's expensive. Well, no, our sponsor pays for it. I'm like, oh,
we don't got sponsors yet.
What are those?
We don't have sponsors paying our
sponsors.
Yeah, we do.
So I know it must have been exhilarating winning the second RGC this year. Gosh, winning the 11th place overall would have been, I don't know. I think for me, the 11th place would be crazy, because like my first time and I'm getting 11th place, and next time I actually will have a little bit of swagger, thinking I could probably pull it off. But what was that like? I mean, hearing your name called RGC at the Royal.
That it was totally unexpected. And for the open, it's so you don't know where everybody's going to be, because not very often does somebody bang off 3 or 4 calls in the open. So it's consistency that wins that contest across the 4 categories. And it was even the year before, calling us for 11th overall, we had no calls that day in the open. So you don't know where you're at. I mean, you could be 400th place, you could be 11th. You just don't know. And it's hard to tell. You can't really even go off your cook. This year, prime example, you probably heard from the other podcast, we didn't have a bad cook by any means. I mean, I don't think bad food's going to win these big contests ever, but I felt I needed to have a better cook than I did. There was nothing wrong with it. Nothing wowed me, but at the end of the day, also, it was still good. And I had these little things that I wanted in every category. I had goals I needed to meet. I wanted my chicken to be like this. My ribs needed to be like this. Pork, it all needed to be in through the cook, and every little category. I was not hitting marks I wanted, but they were pretty high marks. So when I was done, I was upset. Probably said a few 4-letter words when it was all said and done, and sent a few texts to a couple buddies and even my mother, like, oh, this sucks. Just blew a bunch of money for nothing. And as I sat there, had a couple of bush lights after turn-in, bush lattes, whatever you want to call them, and chilled out a little bit. I started thinking, like, maybe that cook wasn't that bad. I actually texted one of my buddies back. I'm like, maybe I'm overreacting on it, And I didn't feel so bad about it then. And went to awards, and we got a call in pork, and it was like 17th. And so at that point, I was happy. I was like, at least I got to see the stage. I got to walk up and grab a ribbon. We're going to call this a successful weekend. People knew we were here. And so we left there happy about it. And they started calling overall. And I forget if they start calling at 25th or something. And I think they start calling at 20th or 25th. And then at 15th on up, then you walk up there. So they got through the teams, got to 10th, and I kind of wrote myself out at that point. So like, well, it's not our day. It's not going to happen for us. It looks glad we got 11th the year before. Just kind of sat back in my chair, and they got these big screens set up there where you can watch, from the camera, the stage and stuff. And I kicked back in my chair and kind of told myself, well, we got a lot of buddies who got some good calls today. I bet one of them's going to probably see some cool stuff here, and kind of sat back and just enjoyed, when they were calling up who was getting the calls. And I kind of had an idea who might be, third, second, and first. And I had a buddy of mine from Canada that had a couple solid calls, and I was like, he could be the reserve. And I knew where he was sitting. I was kind of watching him out of the corner of my eye. And they're going to call his name, and he's going to jump up here, and he's going to go crazy, and I'm going to go run over there, and I'm looking over there, and they call my name. And at that point, there was like 5 guys that jumped on top. It was a blur from there.
That would be, dude, I'd pass out or pee my pants or both. I literally would.
Dude, I get excited when any of my friends get a call, but then get your name called. Like he said, he's like, oh, I'm going to be happy. Rusty's going to get the call, and then to call my name, that'd be even when we talked to Fidel was like, did he just really call my name? It was like, it took a second for him to realize that they called his name for first place brisket.
Yeah.
At the Royal. And I'm assuming that's kind of like, wow, what just happened?
I wouldn't believe it. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was watching that live. That was cool, man. I was just thinking the whole time that'd be just cool to be there, right? Because we'll be there next year, whether we get an invitational. The goal is an invitational, but we're gonna go regardless. So we're gonna be there. Yeah. Hopefully, we do well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think that will cover the Royal a little bit. But RGC and then 11th, man, that's cool. I mean, it kind of like solidifies like, all right, well, that's not a fluke. So what I'm doing is I'm killing it. I mean, that's I think really important. I think that can't be forgotten, because I mean, if you go there and you're like, oh, well, I was 300th place now it took second. It's like, well, okay, but 11th and second, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, well done.
We've been real fortunate, and it's cool that we've been able to have the success that we've had as early as we have at the American Royal, and I hope that it continues to be a special place for us. Yeah, you can probably see in the background here, I got the trophy sitting right here. I don't want this to be the only square trophy I ever win.
Right.
I don't want to sound greedy or whatever, but one of them's cool. The only thing that I'd like to have the number one sitting right next to it.
That'd be something else, man. I take that everywhere I go. Oh, here comes Rusty with his freaking trophy.
You'd probably put it on a necklace and we'll carry it around.
Probably, I don't think they're heavy. They're not fun to carry around. You just maybe find a buddy or something to carry around for you. But when I look at it over my head, when I watched it on camera, I think that was pure adrenaline, because they're heavy. They're not light.
They're built to last.
They look heavy. Yeah. They're cool, man. Those are the coolest trophies in barbecue I've ever seen. Period. And not just because of the prestige of it, just because they're really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the ones at the Jack are pretty cool. It'd be cool to have some of them someday too. But I can tell you what, the American Royal, it's the one. If there's any contest, either one of them, the Invitational or the Open, it's by far it's the one on the top of my list to win. And I think we got a pretty good start to maybe get one someday. We're not going to stop trying.
Well, that podcast, by the way, you were talking about is called Tailgate Guys Barbecue. We listened to, just so you know, the ones we're referencing.
They're out of St. Louis, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Hey, I should know better than that. I'm pretty sure they're St. Louis area. Good guys. I was glad to have the opportunity to come on there. It was actually the first time I'd been on any podcast or any of the barbecue shows. So that was pretty cool. And you guys are the second one.
Oh, nice.
Keep winning. You'll be on more. I promise you that.
Well, I mean, yeah, that podcast is good if anyone listens to it just in general. You can listen to Travis's episode, which was really good. Yeah. But that's a good episode. I just wanted to plug them for a minute because I actually listened to it. It's really nice.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, absolutely.
You cook on Outlaw smokers. So what brought you to Outlaw?
So before we cooked on our Outlaw, we were cooking out of like I said, we were cooking out of an enclosed trailer, setting up easy ups. And we were cooking on 2 Gateway drum smokers and a Yoder pellet cooker. We were cooking the big meats on the Gateway and the ribs and chicken on the Yoder. And it was working really well for us. And I knew I wanted to get to a porch trailer. And I found a porch trailer used in Casey, a buddy of mine, Sands, with Thumpin' Drum Barbecue. He decided to take a year off and didn't want to keep his trailer around, so he decided to sell his trailer. I got that. I was like, well, if we're going to go to a porch trailer, we got to figure out if we're going to mount the Yoder on there and how we're going to do it. And, and we started thinking a little bit more about what we should do. And I got a buddy of mine that bought one of those Outlaws. My buddy Kevin Huber with Sin Circle Barbecue. He bought one. He really liked it. He was he right off the chute. He switched cookers in the middle of the season. That was been 2017, and I think his first cook he went and got a 4th overall. Never cooked on it before. He was cooking on a mix and switched to that Outlaw, and we started banging off some good finishes, and we got that porch trailer. And my dad, who's really involved in the team, he's like, well, maybe we should think about getting an offset. And I'm like, well, never thought about that before, but I'm open to it. And we started talking about it more and got a hold of Jay Craig at Outlaw Smokers and started kicking around, pricing and what they cost and how fast they get built. And I think a week later we had one ordered, and in 4 weeks it showed up and got her mounted on the trailer. And, kind of the main thing that we went that way is we wanted to get to cooking on one and cleaning one smoker. Nothing against drums, but I had 2 drums and a Yoder in every contest. I had to worry about 3 cookers getting them ready for the next contest. And, there's guys cooking on 4 drums all the time. It's probably not a big deal, but it's just trying to, eliminate steps during the week, and got to the point where just be able to cook on one and clean one. But now I'm bringing a little 30-gallon drum along too. I'm setting some sauce and doing a few things on. So I guess we're back to cooking on more than just one. But we don't have that one fired up for a long period of the morning anyway.
Nice. What kind of wood are you feeding that beast?
We run Bond wood, pecan.
All right. Nice.
And so how'd that transition go from barrels? Because we wake up 6, 7 in the morning and we're rolling in, we don't have to worry about nothing. We're sleeping. Everyone else is doing their thing. And then you go to an Outlaw stick burner. What was that process like in the comp circuit? Is it much of a change, or do you guys still run hot and fast?
We still run hot and fast. It actually didn't change my morning plan a whole lot. We put meat on at 6 in the morning, even when I was cooking on drums. So we'd show up at 5 in the morning and get our drums lit when we were cooking on drums. We probably didn't have to show up that early, but we were just making sure we gave ourselves plenty of time to get cookers up to temp and stabilized and running, so it's time to put meat on. We do the same thing. I show up. I got a charcoal basket in my firebox that I get from Rob Wynn Smoking Out Barbecue. That I put some lump charcoal in, and in the morning when I get there, I get out a weed burner torch on a propane weed burner torch, and I blast that thing, and probably within 5-10 minutes I got a good fire going, and then I start throwing splits on, and I'm easily up to we cook at 300 degrees, and we're easily up to that temp in a half hour, 45 minutes tops. We're maybe in a little elevation, like we were in Denver was the last contest we cooked. Takes a little longer up there, but we have no problem getting to temp where we need to be and getting meat on at 6.
Nice, because I want to do a stick burner so bad, but it's just because I want to do a stick burner. That's really what it is about. So that trailer, let's talk about that for a sec. You got actually a pretty nice one with that. So I'm someone looking to get a trailer for competition. Like I said, I'm done with the easy ups. I'm done with sweating. I'm done with the summer heat. Yep. So I need an air conditioned drum. Someone like me looking for a trailer. What kind of advice would you give me when I'm starting to look into a comp trailer?
Sure. I was lucky enough to find I wanted to be into a porch trailer probably a year before I did, but I was having a hard time finding used, and my budget wasn't. I'm still pretty low dollar team. my budget wasn't allowing to build a brand new trailer, you know. I was lucky to get into this trailer I got here for around, I think, $14,000 used. So, you know, that was without the pit, but, you know, it had a AC on the roof, and, you know, it's got countertops and cabinets and all that good stuff. And it didn't have a fridge, but we put one in. I just put a basic Frigidaire one from Menards in there and strapped it down and got a, you know, Cambro. And, our luxury item is we got a flat screen TV hanging on the wall, or a Roku, and some of that stuff in there so we can watch some TV and whatever. When it's like it was in Montana and blowing and raining and there's no social aspect to barbecue, at least you can watch something on there. We got a couch in the front of it, but you know, our trailer is a Liberty Stealth or whatever. It's a trailer built in Indiana. It's not the best built trailer, but it's not the worst built trailer. It's kind of in between. And you know, it seems like porch trailers have been coming up, you know, used more and more often. And I think a person just got to watch those Facebook groups, you know, for the used barbecue equipment, and try to come across the, you know, the right deal, you know, for a good deal, you know. And it took me time, but I finally got what I wanted.
Yeah. So what was something you wish you would have now in it that, you know, maybe you would have gotten before if you would have had enough money or time to put it in?
I want a 42-foot gooseneck, with quarters up front and everything.
The whole sleeping, the whole. Yeah. I want a hot tub on the roof.
You want Heath Ryle setup?
Ooh, Heath Ryle setup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know. You know, if I had it my way, I would have that, you know, and I'd probably take probably a 1-ton dually pickup or bigger to pull it. But, you know, if I had living quarters up front with, you know, with slide outs and everything, and, you know, similar to Darren Worth's trailer, or, you know, some of them you see out there that are the 40 some foot trailers, that'd be awesome. But, there's reality and there's, that maybe someday, but, right now we cook out of this, and some people give me crap for staying in hotels, but I tell you what it would cost me to have a trailer with living quarters, and the difference in payment compared to what I got now, I can buy a lot of hotel rooms for and so it works for us, you know. I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad when I go to the Royal and have a $450 hotel bill, because at the end of the day, I still don't have a trailer payment that's through the roof. And
right.
The one thing that I always told myself when I got into barbecue is I'm going to do as much as I possibly can, but I'm not going to run myself into debt. You know, you got to be financially responsible about it too. And what we have works well for us, and it's affordable.
Yeah, well, I do hotels too, and I think the best part is waking up, taking a shower, being fresh for the day, a little bit more focus. Absolutely. You know, you're coming into the competition, you can start getting breakfast and coffee, and I think it's great.
I mean, I'm a mess out there. I'm sleeping out there. I'm hair wired, Monster Energies with cans everywhere. But
we walk in, just all, you know, hair's all dead. You know, we're looking super pretty.
But I think this year I'm going to step back and make sure that I get enough rest, get cleaned up and everything like that, because I do believe that changes your cook.
You know, Anthony, you're always welcome to shower in my hotel room once I'm done.
Yeah, we actually did that in Wendover. It was perfect.
That's true, huh?
Yeah. So
having that good night's sleep and that fresh shower, it's a mental game, and the sharper you can be, the better off you are. It's just the way it is.
Nice. So what's your plans for 2020? You said this year that you cooked about 15 contests this year so far?
Yeah, I think we were 13 is where we ended up, and our season is officially over. It would take 1,000 miles to go find one now, and yeah.
So are you shooting for about that many again next year?
Yeah, I'm hoping to actually break 15 next year. That'd be, if I could get 15, I'd be happy, and anything more would be a bonus. I know we're going to have to start earlier to get that, and weather permitting on that. Last year, it seemed like winter drug on forever around here, and I would have loved to went to Smoking Spring in Osage City, Kansas last year, and we had a blizzard in South Dakota that week. So it would have. There was guys in the area who got there, but they worked their butts off to get there. And you know, I don't know that I don't know that I need to go try to kill myself on icy roads to go cook a barbecue contest. So hopefully we have a spring that doesn't last or a winter that doesn't last as long, and maybe we can pop down to Kansas earlier and see how the schedule goes. I think and hope we'll get to the 15 mark next year, but we'll just kind of see what happens.
Well, hopefully you come out west. I'd like to see you out here.
Come on out. It's dry. It's hot.
Yeah. The one thing in barbecue, I like to hit new areas. Last year we went to Warrensburg, Missouri. Never cooked in Missouri before. Officially, the Royals in Kansas. We weren't able to cook a barbecue contest that we typically cook in Iowa because we had a family event that weekend, and we had kind of a little bit of a void in our schedule, and I wanted to get somewhere, and it was actually the July 4th weekend. We drove 11 plus hours down to Warrensburg, Missouri to cook this little barbecue contest down there. But I guess I can't say it was little. I was parked next to Joe Pierce and Slaps, and Brad was there, and Man Meat Barbecue and Fergalicious, and it was a pretty stacked field of teams. But we had a lot of fun. So we like to go to new areas and meet new people. You guys pulled into Montana. We cooked that contest last couple of years, and kind of funny. You guys said that you see all of us. We pulled in, and I saw your guys' Easy Up, and you got your logos all over and your drums all matched. It's like, dang, I don't know who those guys are, but they got their shit together. Their stuff looks cool.
We flashy, bro. We flashy.
Yeah.
What did I say? You look good, you cook good.
That's right.
Absolutely.
You gotta look good.
Yeah.
What's your favorite competition that's not the Royal to do? I mean, what's the one you're like, dude, I'm doing this one every single year? What's something that people can latch onto?
Sure. So my two favorite ones probably are there are two in South Dakota here. We got one in Watertown, South Dakota called Cooking on Campesca. It's right next to a lake in a beautiful campground. It's just a great time. I love that one. And then one closer to you guys need to come to, especially it's got a 12,500 per, so it's a good one. Hill City, South Dakota, Hill City Wine Brew and Barbecue. Love that one. Hill City is a town in the Black Hills. Beautiful town. It's fun. The social atmosphere, that one is great. They cook you a breakfast on Saturday morning that is nobody cooks a breakfast like that at a contest. But you guys are probably familiar with Bobby Stanfield, BS Barbecue Outlaws. His girlfriend, fiance, I don't know what the official. Bobby's significant other, Moni. She's the one who's was involved with the Alpine Inn restaurant there, and she throws down some serious food, and she cooks us a breakfast that nobody else in this world can touch.
Nice.
I love South Dakota, man. I went to Deadwood and all that a while back, and I was like, I was surprised how beautiful that land. It's just beautiful out there. I was really pissed off about Mount Rushmore because I could fit that thing behind my ear. I walked up to her like, that's it? I could put that on my wall at home. And then you go to Crazy Horse, and like, good God, that thing's massive. I mean, the Black Hills, dude, we camped there for a week. It was unreal. Pretty place.
Yeah. You guys got to come to Hill City next year. Cook that contest. It is awesome.
And just looking at that.
When is that?
It's like August, end of August.
Late August, usually like an August 25th ish range in there. But,
our August just opened up, so
yeah, it did.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that one.
What is one thing you can leave someone who comp team like myself who just is a newer team? What kind of advice could you impart to me to continue to improve my game a little bit? Sure.
We kind of touched on it earlier. We've been talking about trailers and whatnot. And the one thing that we hear a lot, you hear it online, you hear it in person, whatnot. A lot of new teams get intimidated when they pull into contests and see big fancy trailers. So the first piece of advice I have is don't let big trailers intimidate you getting into barbecue. Trailers don't win barbecue contests. Properly cooked barbecue wins contests. You can cook good barbecue on anything from a $500 drum to whatever you want to cook on. That's the first thing. Don't let that intimidate you. It's like you guys just reserved and whipped our butts cooking under an Easy Up with drums. I mean, prime example right there. Number two, I think as tenderness wins games or wins contests, and so does consistency. Work on that. You're striving for good barbecue, not mind-blowing barbecue. Because keep in mind, if it's blowing your mind, there's probably two judges at that table that whatever blew your mind probably offended them. So it's middle of the road, what wins, focus on tenderness, and stick with basic flavor profiles that people can relate to. Don't get, out of the box is what we'll call it. Stay within the realm, and don't be afraid to take a class. The funny thing is I hear a lot of cooks that are like afraid to admit they take classes. I've had guys message me going, don't tell anybody, but I'm taking so-and-so's class. I'm like, what are you worried about? I'm like, I'll be the first to tell you, I take a class every winter. I don't feel bad about it. If anybody holds that against me, well, too bad. I don't care. Classes are expensive, but you'll get your money back in no time if you apply what you can learn from them.
100%.
Nice.
I lost it. Go ahead.
Well, that's about it. I came up with what do you have?
No, I was going to say something. I forgot it. Why do I do that every episode?
So speaking of classes, let's just roll it back. Where can people find your class at?
Well, our classes, sure. Our classes, our backyard classes, but we would love anybody to come to them. We put them on in Sioux Falls at Barbecue Heaven at Fireplace Professionals. Their website is bbqheavenpitboys.com is where they're at. They'll be listed there, and then you can sign up for the newsletter, and that's where you'll get notified when we have classes. Our next one is coming up here November 16th on a Saturday. It's our holiday cooking class. We're going to be doing prime rib and turkey, and we're going to have a couple sides. I believe we're going to do sausage stuffing, and cornbread sausage stuffing. And I haven't decided on the second side yet. Still decide what I want to do for the second one, but those are for sure on the menu, and we're going to have one more side. And probably be doing some classes over the wintertime too. We'll probably do maybe a Super Bowl appetizer or something other themed class, and when we get through the dead of winter, we're going to go back to the good old stuff: the briskets, the ribs, the chicken, all the stuff everybody likes to cook all summer.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds way awesome. I love going to classes. Like I've always said, I'm an advocate of classes. I go to one at least once a year. But even some of those backyard ones that aren't competition, nothing like that. Because when you're cooking on your backyard, or you're cooking comp, so I'm cooking competition ribs and chicken, brisket, pork once a year or once a week, twice a week sometimes. And then there's just sometimes like, man, I just need to switch it up a bit. And so I'll go to these classes, especially for the ones in the holidays, because I'm usually hosting. I usually have everyone in my house. I'm the one that everyone knows that smokes stuff, I'm the one with the Traeger. I don't have a Traeger, but I'm that guy.
Right.
So going to those things it's changed my cooking too, because now I go into those super confident, and I learn techniques too. You'd be surprised the little stuff you pick out of those that you can take and put into competition, or just learn something to do and to eat that you can have as a tradition in your own family. It's really important, and it's not expensive to do. Yeah. Taking your class is probably what, $50, less than that.
Our classes are $100.
Yeah, $100. See, that's nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing. And with like me, I've always concentrated on competition classes. I don't have any sides in my back pocket. So this holiday season, if there's any classes that have the sides, you're going to catch me at those, because I don't have any sides.
And the one I did was $120. I learned how to do turkey. I learned how to do a couple sides, and I learned how to do roast beef. And it was not roast beef. I'm sorry. Oh God, where's my mind going? The whole prime rib. Yeah. And man, I crush that every year, and that's paid in dividends. Since I've done that. So
yeah, I think we can open. There's especially our prime rib. We've been cooking prime rib around ourselves over the holidays. A different. We always cook a prime rib for the Daytona 500 every year. We call it Redneck Christmas, and that's what we have as our holiday meal is prime rib, and. So we've got a lot of experience cooking it. We got a pretty good method, and I think people will take a lot away from it. I think they'll even if they've been somebody who's cooked a lot of prime ribs on their cookers before, I think they'll come away with things that they didn't know about cooking prime from our class. And we're looking forward to it. I just checked today. I believe there's about 18 people signed up, so it's gonna hit 30. It's gonna sell out because we got 2 weeks, and we a lot of times we got a fair amount of people procrastinate of, hey, I'm planning on signing up, and it seems like the week of the class it just gets bombarded. So sitting at 18 already, I know it's going to get full pretty fast.
Nice. So we're in November. I've been getting a lot of people coming up and asking me, brine your turkey or not. I am a pro briner. Brine your bird. How do you feel about brining birds, or do you not brine, or you inject or?
I will brine them if they aren't already. Now, if you go to Walmart, look at those butter balls, they're already sitting in a bunch of phosphates and salt, and they're already pretty much done for you. So I don't really know that you can get much out of them. But on those, I will inject them. I have no problem filling a syringe full of butter and hitting them breasts and the white meat and everything up. Good with that for sure. But if you come across a heritage turkey or something that come from a farm, or that was not processed by one of the big boys, where it's already been done, absolutely. And my favorite brine on the market is Smoky Okies, the solution. I love it.
Nice. Is that stuff you use?
No.
Well, oh, okay. That sounds like the stuff you use. I don't know. Well, where can people find you other than, like on Facebook and Instagram? Where are you at?
Yeah, we're on Facebook at Last Call Heroes BBQ. I have my own Instagram page, but I'm not real active on it. I need to be better about it. And we don't officially have I've bought the domain, but we don't have a website set up yet. So our main point of contact to be find us is our Last Call Heroes BBQ Facebook page.
Okay.
Okay, because on Instagram be better because I just tagged you in it. So
yeah, we tag a lot. We do a lot of tagging. So in the next week or two, you might want to jump on.
I got the alert and I added it to my story. It's probably the first thing I've added to my story in a couple months.
Yes, we will resurrect your Instagram career. Well, Travis, we appreciate your time, man. That was a lot of fun. Really that was a good conversation. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
And we will see you on the circuit.
I got a couple. I got a couple people to thank before I go. If we could. Had a pretty good year. We got some people to thank. I got some sponsors, Barbecue Heaven, Fireplace Professionals, my buddy Tim Dickey with Smoky Okie Food Products, my buddy Nick Dooley with Dooley Defense, my buddy Calvin Christie with River City Arsenal. I know I'll forget more, but I got to thank my parents, Greg and Nyla Duffy. They've been there a lot for me. They're a big part of this the success we've had. My girlfriend, Emily, she fills in a lot, goes to the contest with our barbecue dogs. They have a lot of fun with them when they come along. My teammate, Jacob Rozecki, and the guy that filled in at the end here at the end of the year when everybody's been busy, my buddy Keegan came, and he was actually running boxes for me at the Royal. It's kind of crazy. I hit him up. I was like, hey, you want to go to a world championship contest? I don't know how we're going to do, but it's kind of fun. I think we did a pretty good job of giving them a hell weekend there. So, thanks for helping us out, and hope to see all you guys next year.
We will, man. Appreciate
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Man, that was a good one.
Yeah, that dude's pretty cool. So when we were going to Montana, he posted up on a Facebook page that he was going to take, and he had the meat and he was going to trim it for someone to come out and cook that contest. If someone wanted to come in, they were kind of iffy about the contest, and they wanted to come in, they wanted to see what it was like, dude, to compete. I'm going to trim everything for you to show up and cook this food, which is, I think that kind of stuff for me, that's what is so cool about certain people in barbecue. Most people are, but when I see stuff like that, that makes me feel like the future's bright for the sport.
Right. It just shows you that it's a strong community and we care and we got each other's backs.
Yeah, if you guys look for Last Call Heroes, right now the Rocky Mountain Barbecue Association, he's 6th. Like I said, Royal, the guy's like top 5 in most everything he does. So yeah, keep an eye out for him because it's going to be crazy. And we almost lost to him. Those ribs.
Oh man.
Oh, I'll tell you, man. I saw him and we lost, and then that chicken, I'm like, oh, we lost, and I was like, oh. I'm like, go meet that guy. So,
thanks for listening. We appreciate everything. Rusty, go ahead and tell them where you can find us.
Everywhere. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram at the Pidmasters Podcast on both of those.
Yep.
iTunes, Spotify. We're going to be on iHeartRadio very soon. Castbox, you name it, man. If you can listen to podcasts, we're going to be on it. So, Thank you guys again for your support and everything you guys do. We're feeling the love. So if you guys ever want to hear someone in particular on the podcast, let us know. If you want to, anything you want to hear us talk about, anyone you hear see us interview, let us know. We love you guys reaching out and giving us your feedback. It's been great. And feel free to message us anywhere, any questions that you have. Hey, I'm having friends come over this weekend and I'm cooking this and I don't know how. Shoot it to us. Like Rusty said, all those social medias, and also at the Pitmasters podcast at gmail.com is a great source as well. Yeah. And then what will happen is we'll both get back to you with basically the same thing, because I'll answer, he'll answer, and then I'll answer, then he'll answer. And then we'll, it's because we don't read up. We don't read up. We just answer. Alrighty. Thanks, guys. All right. Thank you.